Galileo was demonized for his heresy. Well, Mark Armitage, he's being demonized for his heresy.
Watching it end again and again. I feel it in ways you follow me.
Hi, I'm Charles Chambers, and welcome to Breadcrumbs Investigates. We follow the breadcrumbs of facts and clues and get to the whole loaf of the truth. Sometimes it takes a little while to get there, but if there's a truth, it's out there to be found. This series is going to start out with a great injustice that has been done to a very hard-working scientist, just because he has a religious fundamentality that is against the norm today. 200 years ago, being a Christian, it was an admirable thing. It was a wonderful thing. And if you went against the Christian norm, then you were in deep trouble. And that's what happened to Galileo with his great discovery of how our solar system in fact operates. Well, you know, we travel around the sun. The sun doesn't travel around us. But that great heresy put Galileo in a lot of trouble. And we know this throughout history. Here we are in 2018, and in 2016, a very devout Christian was fired for his Christian beliefs. Here's where this really gets twisted. The man that was fired is Mark Armitage, and he helped build up a lab at Fresno State. This lab was a microscope lab, a microscopy lab. Mark spent a lot of time setting up the lab, working with the students, working with the staff, teaching everybody how to use the equipment so they could do their research. He came across an article in a science journal because that's what Mark does. He reads science journals for fun. This article had a very interesting point that Mary Schweitzer in North Carolina had found soft tissue in dinosaur fossils. That's right, soft tissue in dinosaur fossils. That shouldn't be there. That's an oddity. Because, as we all have been told, dinosaur fossils are millions of years old. 65 to 300 million years old is what we've been told. Well, Mark was curious about this because Mark's a Christian and he believes a literal interpretation of the Bible. He feels that the Old Testament version of Genesis is in fact how the earth was created. Some agree, some disagree. But as an American and as a scientist, he has a right to believe that. So he thought to himself, what if I find some soft tissue? What if I can carbon date it? This is exciting science, isn't it? So Mark undertakes an expedition, goes to the Badlands of America, and finds dinosaurs. Well, not dinosaurs, but dinosaur fossils. There was a lot of dinosaur fossils laying about, as his story goes, but they ran across a triceratops horn. This horn wasn't in great condition, but it was a triceratops horn. When they extracted it from the ground, it was so old and fragile that it crumbled in their hands. But they preserved it properly and were able to take it back to the lab. Mark took samples back to his lab, and he did the same thing that Mary Schweitzer did with her dinosaur bones. He put them in a weak acid solution, let it sit for a couple of weeks, and that soft acid solution etched away all of the rock. Well, what was left behind was soft tissue. Yeah, soft tissue of a rhinoceros horn. That is amazing because, as we know, soft tissue should not be in fossilized bones of dinosaurs because these dinosaurs have expired, as they told us, millions of years ago. Well, Mark was very excited about this and talked to a lot of his staff and students saying, look, there may very well be a chance that the biblical version narrative of the creation story is in fact true. This rubbed some of his colleagues the wrong way. Some of the staff really didn't like that Mark was talking this way because it appears that in California, atheism rules the day. Leftist, atheist ideology dominates college campuses, as far as we can tell these days. So, those scientists, those fellow colleagues that didn't like this talk of Christianity entering the classroom and entering the science lab, made sure to get Mark fired. That is a bad thing, and that is a huge injustice. But Mark fought this. Instead of turning the other cheek, he took all of his resources and found a law firm after several attempts that would take his case, and he beat the state of California by suing them for firing him, violating his civil rights. But this story has been buried. It's been buried in the news, and Mark has been shoved away off into history. He's alive and well in Washington State, working and still doing his research. Although he doesn't have the lab that he used to have, doesn't have the resources that he used to have, and I sure would like to help him get those resources back. His science was strong, his theories have merit, and his religion is beautiful. He just wants all souls to be saved, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, please help the Breadcrumbs Project. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you can know whenever new stories come out about this and other challenging views which are being buried by our modern media, our modern dynamic of denying the obvious, just to keep a narrative going. Breadcrumbs Project rejects this. We say science matters. We say what we see matters. We say facts matter. We say clues matter. And we want to see the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So we'll see you again. Again, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell so that we can stay in touch. Please put your comments below, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. I'm Charles Chambers, and this is Breadcrumbs Investigates.